Hola chicos, so this is our third, I believe, video series on the huracanes en el Caribe, so let's pick right up. Ahora sabemos que los huracanes son fenómenos naturales que se forman por una combinación de factores. So if we go back to our discussion questions. Número 13. ¿Sabes tú? Do you know cómo se forman los huracanes? Do you know how hurricanes are formed? Just write anything you know in Spanish or English about how hurricanes are formed. ¿Sabes tú cómo se forman otros desastres naturales? So, do you know how any other natural disasters are formed? Notice how they use the verb saber in this case and not conocer. Because saber is to know information. So write what you want about that. And any other natural disaster like tornadoes, how they might be formed. A lot of our natural fires out in California are formed sometimes by man or by lightning sometimes. Just any examples there. Don't overthink it. Okay, next slide. 14. Para formar un huracán, so to form a hurricane, se necesita tres factores. You need three factors. Uno, viento, which is the wind. Agua caliente, hot water. Y aire frío. Now don't be confused with this says cold air. You actually need warm air right above the surface of the water, arriba del agua. Pero necesita aire frío arriba en el aire, so like higher up in the air. And if you're really interested, there's a really neat 2-minute video I posted in miércoles under Wednesday's tab about how hurricanes are formed in English. It's just a couple of minutes long if you're interested in that. Los huracanes solo se forman sobre agua caliente. So they only form over the hot water. And this is a picture of Tormenta Tropical Christy. And this gives the velocidad de vientos at 64 kilómetros por hora. There's presión atmosférica, the atmospheric pressure, wind speeds. So this was only a tropical storm. It was 40. What did I do? There we go. Millas por hora. Okay, número 14. Give specific locations to your students, so states, countries, and ask why the three conditions exist each one. So Alaska is a windy in places and has cold air but doesn't have the hot water. So just give me an example of you give me an example of any state or country that has either agua caliente, viento, mucho viento. Like La Isla en Aruba tiene mucho viento. So Aruba has average high winds y agua caliente. Pero no hay aire frío allá. There's not really cold air there. Except for way up high in the sky. Okay, next slide. Los huracanes están clasificados en una escala de 1 a 5. Los vientos de un huracán de categoría 5 soplan, blow, con una velocidad más alta que los vientos de un huracán de categoría 1. So they're classified on a scale of 1 to 5. This is a Saffir-Simpson scale. So a category 5 hurricane, if you look at categoría 5 down here, whoops. So here's categoría 5 y es sobre 155 millas por hora. So this is the daño en tierra, the land damage. It's catastrófico. And marea de tormenta pies, this is the feet that the sea comes up. So that gives you 19 feet of where the ocean goes over the land that far. Storm surge is what that is. So we've got Categoría uno, and then this is your wind speed. So la más fuerte, la más categoría. So the stronger the winds, the higher the category. So, ¿qué categoría fue huracán se llama Laura el fin de semana pasado? So this past weekend, Hurricane Laura hit our Gulf Coast around Louisiana. And when it hit, impacto, it was Categoría 4. So it did a lot of damage. And I think it had a higher storm surge than that even, but I'm not sure. I know it went all the way up to like 40 millas. I think it went all, like around 40 miles inland, all the way up to near Shreveport was the water. So pretty intense hurricane there. So let's go back to our assignment here. And número 15, aquí 15, convierte la velocidad del viento. So convert the wind velocity de cada categoría a kilómetros por hora. So what you need to do in your notebooks there is matemáticas. Okay, so you're going to label out categoría 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So para uno es now it's telling me I can't. Not sure what's going on there. I'm just going to keep going. So, 74 a 95 millas por hora you're going to multiply that by 1.609 kilómetros por hora. So take each one of those velocities and multiply by 1.609, and that'll give you your answer for every one of them in kilómetros por hora. Los huracanes afectan mucho al Caribe. So the hurricanes affect a lot of the Caribbean. 16. Oh, let's do this one first. ¿Cuáles son los huracanes más famosos de tu país? So what are the most famous hurricanes in your country? You can look them up. Katrina was a big one. You can mention Laura. Busca la categoría de cada uno. So just try to think of one or two or look up one or two on that one. 16. El tiempo, desastres naturales afectan mucho a tu región. So you agriculture people out there, the weather, natural disasters, do they affect a lot of your region where you live? Sí, mucho. Yeah, we have natural disasters. We have droughts, tornadoes, a veces, sometimes. Y tenemos vientos fuertes. We have strong winds, like downwinds, that will destroy property. So, y tormentas también. Y a veces terremotos, earthquakes, not as often, but we have them. Los huracanes afectan la economía de los países caribeños. So the hurricanes affect the economy of the Caribbean countries. Afectan la economía porque la agricultura es una industria importante en el Caribe. Los huracanes destruyen, the hurricanes destroy las plantas y la industria de agricultura sufre. So when the hurricanes come in and destroy the plants, then the ag industry suffers. And you can see a crop there. Not sure what it is, sorghum or sugarcane or something, not sure. 17. La agricultura es una industria importante de tu región. ¿Qué productos? So, sí, la agricultura es muy importante alrededor nuestras comunidades. ¿Y qué productos son? Maíz, corn y soya, soybeans, el trigo, wheat. Y los animales are vacas, cows, y puercas, pigs. So whatever you want to write there. Por ejemplo, los huracanes Ike y Gustav destruyeron las plantas de azúcar en Cuba en 2008. So these hurricanes, they destroyed a lot of the sugar cane in Cuba in 2008. El tiempo ha afectado una cosecha, una planta específica en tu región. So, the weather, has it affected a plant or a crop? A cosecha is a crop specific to your region. Sí, mucho. Cuando no hay bastante llueve, es horrible para las plantas. Y cuando nada mucho llueve, es horrible también. So when we have too much rain or not enough rain, a drought, it causes major problems for our crops, right? Los huracanes también afectan al turismo. So the tourism is affected. That's where a lot of their money comes from. En el Caribe, el turismo es otra industria muy importante. Después, after, de un huracán, los turistas no quieren ni pueden visitar el país. So after a hurricane hits, it doesn't matter if your trip's booked. See the cancelados, they're canceled. The tourists don't want, they can't visit the island because of the hurricane. So let's see if we have a slide question on that. Los turistas quieren visitar tu comunidad. Do tourists want to visit your community? A veces, nada mucho. No es como los comunidades en la costa. So we're not like a popular destination for tourists like the coast, but a veces, sometimes. ¿Qué destinos nacionales, internacionales te consideras los más ideales para turistas? So what national, international destinies do you consider the most ideal for tourists in our country? So probablemente Florida, like los cruces, the cruises in Bahamas y in El Caribe, las islas in El Caribe. ¿Qué más? Some people like to go, just think of anywhere. California, Florida, Disney, whatever you want to put there. El tiempo ha afectado tus vacaciones. Vuelos cancelados, por ejemplo. So has the weather affected your vacations? You can just put a time. COVID definitely has affected our vacations, right? But you can talk about what weather conditions, like if you've had a hurricane cancel your vacation before. Okay, we're going to end that video there, and my last one is coming.